the last time you actually felt peace? I'm not talking about the kind of peace where you smiling for everybody else and then you go home and go in the corner and cry later, but I'm talking about real peace inside your mind. Most people haven't felt that type of peace in a long time. And the thing is, peace is not something that comes from your job, from your family, from your bank account. It don't come from none of that stuff. Peace comes from your mind. If you are somebody who is tired of wishing for peace and you believe that it's out of reach for you, then this video is for you, because peace is not something that you buy. Peace is something that you actually have the capacity to build inside of your mind. Hello, if you're new here, my name is Ameka Coleman. I am the founder of Strands of Faith, a purpose-driven beauty brand that brings joy to your textured hair, and I am a mental wellness advocate. So here's what nobody tells you about peace. Peace is not the absence of problems. Peace is the presence of healing. And once you build it, people around you, they're not going to even understand it, because your peace is going to confuse them. You know why? Because they're still being controlled by the same chaos that no longer owns you. And so in this video, I'm going to show you how to turn your wounds into peace so that the storms outside that's blowing cannot break what God is healing inside of you. First, I want to say that you don't have to keep wishing for something that you truly desire. If peace is something that you desire in your heart, God will absolutely give you the desires of your heart, but you just have to be open to receiving. You have to believe that it's yours to have. You keep going to sleep and waking up with the same hope that, you know, peace falls on your life, but peace is not something that is wished for. Peace is something that is created. And so instead of saying, I wish I had peace, ask yourself, like, what can I do today to create peace for myself? I think when we get out of the mindset of thinking that certain things are out of our control and that we don't have the power to make certain things happen in our life. So when you ask yourself, what can I do today to ensure that I have some level of peace, you're putting that control and that power back in your hand to do it. Even when you are in chaotic environments, you can absolutely do this. Just think about like having kids around. Like I am the queen of this. I can tune out. Like, ain't nothing around me but the air and the wind. But just think about having kids around, and kids can be very noisy. They can be very chaotic. They be having a lot going on. And I remember when my kids were growing up and riding in the back seat, and you know how they're just screaming their lungs out and crying to the top of their voice, but there's nothing you can do until you get to your destination. I was the queen of tuning it out. In that moment, I was creating my peace. It was chaos all around me, but I learned to tune it out. That's an example of how you can create peace and stillness in the midst. No matter what's going on around you, you just have to make the mental decision and say, okay, I can control what's going on in my mind. I'm not gonna allow what's going on around me to shake me or to remove me from my stillness. Because hearing all that crying in your voice, yes, it can frustrate somebody. Yes, it can probably give you some anxiety, but you have to be mindful of allowing those, again, external things create your emotions, because now those emotions of frustration and anxiety, you can lash out at other people and it ain't got nothing to do with them. You just frustrated because your kids are crying. And so if you can instead say, yes, this is chaos around me. Yes, this noise is loud. Yes, these kids are crying, but I'm going to choose in this moment to tune it out, and I'm going to bring peace to me. That's what you have to do. Peace is not wished for, it is created. So sometimes you gotta be the peace that you seek, and you have to be the peace and create the peace that you wish for, that you hope for, and that you seek. Create that peace for yourself. But then once you stop wishing, you're gonna realize that the next block is pressure. Pressure, pressure, pressure. You pressure yourself to have it all together. You pressure yourself to be this strong person, to be this perfect person, to keep smiling even when you're crumbling inside. But that pressure is what keeps the peace out. Peace does not come from pressure. Peace comes from permission to be, from permission to be still. You have to give your permission. You have to give yourself permission today to not be okay for a moment. If you're not okay for a moment, breathe, let it out, feel it, right? Think about one thing that has been holding you back lately and has been robbing your peace from you. You have to say, okay, this is the situation, this is what I'm experiencing, but I am not going to allow you to rob my peace. that pressure that is built up from the challenges and all the things that's happening to you in your life that's robbing your peace, that's that pressure. And that pressure, again, that pressure is breaking you. But when you give yourself permission to step away and say, I'm not going to sign up to this in this moment. I'll come back to this when I have a little bit more control, or when I have the more of the solutions. But right now, since I don't, I give myself permission to step away. You have to give yourself permission. Again, this is all about knowing that you are in control of your life. Sometimes we let people dictate how we move with our lives. This is our lives. You have permission at any time to unsubscribe and to step back and to say, I'm not going to allow this pressure that's building up around me to steal my peace. So just know that pressure is there to break you. Pressure is there to build up in you, but you don't have to let it, because guess what? Permission heals you. Give yourself permission to step away from whatever you need to for as long as you need to. But then the moment you give yourself permission, you're going to notice something else that may come up, and that is your pace. The pace and how you do things. You are rushing, right? Instead of resting. You are rushing through your days, rushing to fix all the problems that's in your way, rushing to meet expectations, rushing to prove yourself to other people. Rushing creates a sense of non-peace. Why? Because you're moving, but you're moving and overwhelmed. Peace happens in stillness. You can still be moving, but you're moving at a calm, steady, like a tempo space. I don't know much about music, but it got like a rhythm to it. A rhythm to it that you can keep up with. A rhythm to it that's not stretching you and not overwhelming you. And so you have to slow down and stop rushing to all the things that's causing your problem. Don't rush to them. You gotta rest, push back. Say, I give myself permission to rest, because rest is needed. Rest is rebelling against all the things in this world that people say we should do. Society say we should do. We should rush to success. We should work 80 hours a week to make it to the next level. If you own a business, you know how stressful it can be to, build a startup or build a business. You're working all these hours and stuff. But that's what society says. But what if you give yourself permission and say, I'm gonna choose rest, because when I am rest, I'm able to think better. I have more clarity. I have more creativity. The business can run more smoothly. The solutions that I offer to people comes to me easily, and how I present it, because I've allowed myself to rest. When you are rushing and overworking yourself, that does nothing for you, because if anything, it really negatively affects your mental wellness and your mental health, because you're not giving yourself a chance to rest. Rest is something that doesn't get enough visibility in how we talk about it, because again, in society, everything is just move, sleep when you die. Who gonna sleep when they die? I'm going to sleep right now, and I'm going to get my 9 hours of rest every day. And if I need to take a nap, now I take a nap. I take my rest, because nobody is going to take your rest for you. When your body is breaking down, when you are having to go to the doctors and to the hospitals because you're overworked, you're dehydrated, you're stressed out, who's going to be there, fixing the problems, your problems that are still going to be there, by the way? Your problems are still going to be there. They don't go away just because you're in the hospital. But what if you give yourself permission to simply rest? If you rest, many of the problems you have, you'll find that they're really not problems anymore. Many times they go away, or many times they don't even present themselves, because the rushing is what leads to the problems. Or even think about when you're doing something and you're rushing. If you, like, say in the morning time, you're rushing and you're trying to pour a glass of milk or a glass of juice in a jar, what happens? And you spill it, right? Now, when you spill that juice, that slows you down. You got to clean it up, and that puts you 5 minutes behind. But what if you had a calm, still morning, you meditated, you prayed, you did your routine, you poured that glass of tea, that coffee, that juice, whatever, with calmness and stillness, you got your cup filled, no mess, and you out the door on time. That's what rest does for you. It just helps you to slow down. So get your rest, because peace does not live in rushing. It lives in rest. And you know what else steals your peace? You're constantly doubting yourself. You doubt your present. You doubt your future. You doubt if peace is even possible for you. But doubt drains peace before it even has a chance to grow. because you're thinking, what you're telling your mind is that I don't deserve this. This isn't for me. This is for the people out in Beverly Hills who have maids, who have butlers, who have people doing stuff for them. Peace is for them. Peace is for people who don't have a lot of kids and they're just single and they can live carefree, right? Peace is for those people. Peace is for the people who got all the money in the world. They don't have a care in the world. They can go and buy whatever they want. Peace is for those people. When you doubt yourself, you start to create a narrative that peace is for other people when peace is really for you. Think about it. Even with people who have a lot of money, many times you hear about how they self-harm themselves or they're doing something to themselves and you're like, dang, if I had all that money, I wouldn't do that. You know why they do that? It's because they don't have peace. Money can definitely help to elevate your quality of life, but money is not the end all be all. Money is just a resource. Peace is something that you can have irregardless of money, irregardless of where you live, irregardless of where you work. If you decide to not doubt yourself and cultivate it, you first have to believe and know that it's for you, right? Everything I say starts in your mind. It starts in your thoughts. You have to believe it first. If you can believe it, even if you don't yet have it, then you can cultivate it. It'll eventually come to you because you've made space and say, okay, I don't have this now, but I believe that it's mine and it's going to be mine. God did not put us here on this earth to overworry, to overthink, and to kill our peace. He wants us to live a healthy and fruitful and fulfilled life, right? But how can we truly live that if we're not walking in the thing that he's given us with peace? His spirit is peace. His presence is peace. And so if we're made in his image and that's it embodies who he is peace, like why would you think you aren't deserving of peace? Peace is yours to have. So stop doubting yourself. Just know that peace is yours to have, and peace cannot survive in doubt. You know why? Because peace has to live in trust. You have to trust and believe that you can have it and that it's yours. So the way that you build a life that is so peaceful that people are looking at you crazy, like, what's wrong with her? Something is going on, is that you simply have to build that life. Have you ever seen those people and they may have less than you? They may have less money, less resources, just less everything. But every time you see them, they are full of light. They're full of joy. And you're wondering like, dang, I see their circumstances. How can they have that much joy? How can they be that peaceful in the midst of? That's because that person has learned and understand the benefit of cultivating and building that peace, irregardless of what's going on around them. Because as long as you live in this world, there's always going to be things going on around you that you can't control. But your peace is something that you actually can control, something that you actually can build if you're intentional about it. And so be like those people who, whenever you come across somebody like that, just observe them. And if you have a chance, talk to them, create a conversation with them, and a dialogue. Ask them a question. What gives you peace? Or how do you cultivate your peace in the midst of chaos? We can really learn from other people, irregardless of their backgrounds, their genders, whatever. Like, we are a human race. Like, we are really one in the same, and just conversing with people and gaining that wisdom, gleaning that wisdom from them is how we can elevate and sharpen our lives. And so being peaceful simply means that you're giving yourself permission to. If you're somebody who, when you go to a family reunion, you're the one that people say, oh, that's the angry person, or you get upset at the drop of a dime, switch it up on them. When you go around and something happens, listen, don't let it shake you. Don't let it move you. You just sit in your stillness. I promise you, they're going to look upside your head like, what in the world? What is this person on? But what you're on is peace, and you realize and understand that you have the power to control it and to cultivate it. And so I so badly want this for you. I so badly want these mental shifts to be in your head, that you can control your peace, because it's really going to help to elevate your mental wellness, elevate your life. So no, life won't be peaceful all the time. I am not saying that, but what I am saying is that in spite of, you can cultivate your own pockets of peace, and you don't have to wait on anybody to do it for you. Keep the faith, bet on you, because God already did.